This week, the gift from the employees of one El Paso company that has kept giving and giving some more. And we've spent a great deal of time talking about the physical aspects of dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. What about the mental and emotional aspects? That's all coming up. I'm Duke Keith, and this is El Paso Townsquare. Welcome to El Paso Townsquare. Very pleased to be speaking with a wonderful friend for many, many years, and the president of physical therapy centers in El Paso, 4 different locations. This is Louis Zúñiga. And Louis, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate you spending some time to talk about what you guys are doing in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
Duke, it's great to be with you. Thank you so much for the kind words, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you today.
Well, we appreciate having you, and just first of all, touch on the different physical locations that you're kind of in control of, and I know that you have other people who are with you, but what are the 4 different locations if people need to visit physical therapy? And what do you do specifically? What do you concentrate on?
Well, so Duke, we have 4 locations that I'm in charge of, and the one is in Northeast El Paso. It's on out there by the new shopping center, the beautiful new shopping center that they did. Loma del Sur is that address, and then there's one on Joe Battle, right on the freeway. That's right near the big hospital out there. Going out towards the hospital, it's right before that. It's right on the going out. It's right on the right side of the freeway off 375 on Joe Battle. And then the other one is on the corner of North Loop and Yarborough, and then we have a 4th location at 4646 North Mesa, right in the middle of the new construction that's coming around in the next few months. So we're looking forward to that, Duke. But that's those are our 4 locations, and what we do is you know, at our base, we're an orthopedic rehabilitation center. And over the course of the last few years, what we've managed to do is develop a significant expertise in other areas that are really important to people. And one of those is balance and dizziness. Falls are a terrible, terrible problem with folks, especially as we get older. And our process for taking care of people with balance and dizziness problems is really, really sophisticated. We have great equipment, and we have unbelievably well-trained people to take care of those individuals. So we're really proud of that, and then we're doing some other really cool things. We have one of our therapists who's been trained up in the area of pelvic health, which is something that we don't really like to talk about much, but it's super important. And Katie's done an amazing job in terms of her training and her ability to help those people. Then we're doing something really exciting, Duke, and we're starting a program with a company from Canada. It's called EKG, like EKG for your heart. This is called EKG, and we're just rolling it out in the next few weeks. And it's a diagnostic approach to taking care of biomechanical problems for people's needs. And the outcomes that we've been made aware of are extraordinary. And it's the idea of applying a diagnostic approach to a person's knee problem in order to be able to treat it effectively. And I really feel like this is going to be a game changer for us.
How so? I mean, obviously you're talking about therapy, and I would imagine this involves therapy. You would probably like to do therapy rather than surgery and knee replacements, joint replacement, things like that. I would imagine that's kind of what you concentrate on first, even though I would imagine you probably help people who've already had those things, those procedures, correct?
Well, that is correct. You know, we're pre and post-op, but the reason why this is so important, I mean, it's such a great question, Duke, is that right now what happens is that if a person has knee pain, we treat it in a way that we do the best we can. We use laser sometimes. We use exercise. We use mobilization of the joint, and all of those things can be helpful. Don't get me wrong, but we're really doing our best in terms of diagnostics. Most of the time, diagnostics for a knee patient involves an X-ray and maybe an MRI. But no matter what you do, both of those tests are static. Either of those 2 tests are static. And with an EKG, it's a biomechanical three-dimensional biomechanical analysis of how a person walks, and we can take that information and create a program based on where the deficiencies lie in that person's ability to walk and navigate space. Yeah, so it's a really cool approach to taking care of a problem, because we're absolutely identifying where the problem is and then taking that information to create the program. So it's extremely exciting. The technology actually is not new. It's new in the United States, but it's been used in Canada and in Europe for well over 10 years, and the research is reflective of lots of work that's been done over the last 10 years. So we're super excited about it. We feel like for somebody that has knee pain that is considering whether they want to have surgery or need to have surgery, they really should approach it in a conservative way, and this is the best way to approach it conservatively and hopefully get a great outcome for them.
That's tremendous. And speaking of diagnosing the problem at its root, and getting like a good analysis of it, you've talked a lot about your team and some of the folks who are part of your team, but that also includes what you're doing in the midst of the novel coronavirus pandemic here in El Paso, which I'm certain, along with road construction on Mesa, has affected your business in ways that nobody wants. But you're dealing with the reality of it, and your team has kind of helped you do exactly that. And this is the reason we have you here today, is to talk about what you're doing with the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank. And it's something, and I'll let you elaborate on it. I'll let you tell the story, but it's something that started with a member of your team listening to us here at KLAQ.
Duke, I'm so proud. I'm really blessed. I have the most amazing people that I've been able to associate myself with in my organization. They really are impressive. And what happened was this. One of my team members was listening to a broadcast on Q and came to me and said, Louis, this food bank situation is really bad. They're in desperate need. What if we, as an organization, contributed a little bit of money? I mean, everybody can throw in whatever they can throw in, and then maybe the company could come back and match what we threw in individually. And I'll tell you what was interesting, Duke, is just a day or two before that, I was on my way to our office on the east side, and I was coming up Yarborough, and I saw a line of people in cars. Gosh, there must have been a mile or a mile and a half. It was around that park right down by the border. And I thought, gosh, what are all these people doing here? I didn't have an awareness of it. And then when my guy came and told me, hey, this is what's going on, it all kind of the dots connected. It kind of clicked. So I told him, I said, gosh, we really need to do something. We really got to do something to help these people. And I told him about the line of cars. And so what we did was, within a week, between my team and I and the company and everybody else, we raised over $2,600 that we were able to write a check to the food bank to try to feed people that needed help, and we're super proud of it. But I think the whole important part of this, there's a lot of pieces here, but one of the things that I really wanted to talk about and emphasize is that you as an individual, as a person, can go to your employer and really make a big difference. There could be a huge impact by you getting together with the team members of your specific company and just saying, hey, we got to do something. This is our community. There's people hurting. We got to do something. And just putting together $5 or $10 and going to your employer and saying, hey, listen, if we put together a few hundred or a few $1,000, are you willing to match it? And then all of a sudden, Duke, we're doing something really special. And that was the message I wanted to get across, is that every one of your listeners can be an important part of this, and we can do something for our community together.
That's really tremendous. And just over a week, $2,600. And then my understanding is that the El Paso Community Foundation has also helped you to match that total, correct? At least in part, correct?
That's correct. I'm not sure what their match was, to be honest with you, Duke, but I know that the community foundations, they're unbelievable, and they recognize what's going on, and they kicked in because of our efforts. We were able to multiply it even further. So, like I say, all of us together, we can make a difference.
That's tremendous. And once again, Dr. Luis Zúñiga with physical therapy. And let's get the spelling right, too, because that might throw some people off. FYZICAL. FYZICAL, not PHYS. But in 4 different locations for Dr. Zúñiga's offices around El Paso. But your trip to the east side is what helped kind of put this in perspective for you. And I would imagine just, everybody dealing with this issue around El Paso, we're finding out, people, the hashtag El Paso Strong arose from the August 3rd tragedy, but everybody has taken this another step during the pandemic, and hashtag El Paso Strong is what this whole Sun City has been doing to help people through the crisis, and that includes physical therapy and you guys too. It's really been tremendous to see.
Well, Duke, I really believe this is my home. I was born and raised here. I love it here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And I believe in the El Paso Strong, the hashtag El Paso Strong. I think it's a great thing. It's a great community. I love the people. I love my neighbors, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. And my history goes back with the Sun Bowl and as you know, and
yes.
It's just so great to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And we always one of our visions is that we have to be in the service of others, and that's part of our mission. And this is just one small thing that we could do. And then the Q and you guys are doing an unbelievable job getting the word out, Duke. I mean, you and Brad and the people at the station are just unbelievable, and this is all part of the solution, I believe.
Well, it is, and I know our general manager, Brad DeBow, has been very involved with El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, and that's been, I think, one of the more upfront places where people can help, because there are people in need through all walks of El Paso. I remember, I would believe it was Beto O'Rourke, our former congressman, in a Walgreens, just talking about what he was doing with El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, and the young lady at the counter said, "There's a place I can go for food?" and just broke down in tears. Like, you never know who you're going to help. You don't know who's in need. There's no shame in the game, man. If you need help, you need help. And that's what El Pasoans Fighting Hunger is doing, what you guys have done to help raise money for that. And I know countless volunteers not only donating money, but donating their time and their resources to help put things together. But this is, the funny thing is, when you're talking about you guys and what physical therapy has done throughout El Paso, it isn't just this. This is just kind of the latest iteration. I guess the seeds have been sown for the last number of years based on, for lack of a better phrase, a Christmas party that you've never, ever had, right? Is that about right?
Yeah, Duke, I appreciate you bringing that up. So, again, this is what I said a minute ago, is the folks on my team are just incredible. So a few years ago, they came and said, Louis, we have a lot of blessings, and we have this wonderful Christmas party that you do for us every year. What if we took the funds that we spent for that Christmas party and we did something for our community in lieu of it? And I'll be honest with you, Duke, I almost cried, and I thought, geez, I don't deserve to have the folks around me that I have. And so what we did was my son Boomer went out and found. We looked at a lot of charities, and there's so many people in need. But we found one in particular, and our criteria was we wanted to be local. That's really important to us. And then we wanted to help somebody that was really operating on a shoestring, and we found these folks at an agency called Veterans Nonprofit. And this fellow Steve does an incredible job, and their mission is really fundamental. They're feeding vets that don't have food. And that was just shocking to me that there were folks out there that just didn't have food to eat. So that's number one. And then what they do is they have a clothing bank so that the vets can go there and get toiletries, basic toiletries and food and suit, whatever, to interview for jobs. And then they even have food for service dogs. And then they have an agency that they work with to get folks haircuts. so that they can become presentable when they go out to seek employment. So I just thought when we talked about it, I thought, God, what a great agency. You know, I have a soft spot in my heart for the military and for veterans anyway, and we're helping at such a fundamental level. So again, my team's incredible. We give them money, which is super important to them, to their mission. And then the other thing we do is we volunteer. We give them manpower. So we rotate offices, and we go and we give them the volunteer and the manpower that they need to serve their mission. And we're really proud of it. It's gone really, really well. I've been out there several times myself, and you know what we're doing, I think, is important. And so yeah, we do go back in terms of our service to the community, and I appreciate the recognition and letting people know about it.
How long have you been doing that?
For about 3 years now.
3 years. Okay. So again, the seeds were sown for what you're doing now through El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, or for El Pasoans Fighting Hunger with this. And that continues to be a wonderful charity in and of itself. It does sound like you have one heck of a team there at Physical Therapy, Balance, and Hand Centers. And it's nice that you have this kind of these kind of folks around you.
It really is, Duke. I don't, you know, sometimes I wonder how lucky I can be. They're amazing people, and they never cease to amaze me. They come up with ideas, and what they do for folks every day is just admirable, and I'm so pleased to be a part of it.
Well, it's it grows out of, I guess, kind of the mission of what Physical Therapy and Balance Centers do anyway, in helping so many people around the Sun City, and I know health services around El Paso. It's kind of a much needed business anyway, but that has to be extra rewarding to kind of do this kind of work, both kind of with what you do with your business, as well as with what you do with charities around the area.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're part of a big ecosystem of folks here, and we have to do more than just, you know, provide healthcare services. I really believe that. I was brought up in I went to, you know, Christian Brothers High School, went to Cathedral High School, Duke, and from the time I started, it was ingrained in us that we should work in the service of others, and so I've lived my life that way, and it's reflective. It's reflective at this point of our team and our company. So I'm super proud of it. I'm really pleased, and the fact that we can help other people in this way by the food bank is just another way that we want to serve our community.
Speaking with Dr. Luis Zúñiga of Physical Therapy and Balance Centers in El Paso, 4 different El Paso locations, and what they're doing with El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank. And one more time, if you could, is there a website for the folks you help with your Christmas donations? What is the name of that place again?
It's a veterans nonprofit.
Veterans nonprofit.
And veterans nonprofit, and I think I'm thinking it's vnp.com,
okay,
but I'm not 100% sure. But I'll tell you, they're what they do. You know, we work with them year round, and what they do is pretty amazing. They do it on a shoestring, man, and I just admire their work so much.
Outstanding. And if I know that you've been very involved with the Sun Bowl organization for many years. You're a past president, are you not?
I was a past president, yes.
Wow, that's okay. And so that in and of itself, the Sun Bowl organization does such wonderful, the Sun Bowl Association, I should say, does such wonderful work around the Sun City. Veterans Nonprofit, it's veteransnonprofit.org, I think, and that's
veteransnonprofit.org, yeah.
There we go.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And if you want to check that out, you certainly can. And this is one of the charities that the Dr. Zúñiga and his team at Physical Therapy have been helping out with. Well, I certainly appreciate your time, and certainly appreciate the efforts of you and your team at Physical Therapy and Balance Centers around El Paso. And Dr. Zúñiga, thank you very much for your time today.
Duke, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you so much for increasing awareness. Your station has done an incredible job, and it's just great to be a part of it.
Our deepest thanks once again to Dr. Luis Zúñiga and the staff at Physical Therapy, Balance, and Hand Centers. I'm Duke Keith, and this is El Paso Townsquare.